How's it going? We're going to do another video today. Today's going to be something different. I'm going to do a European mount on this deer, and I'm going to show you how it's done. So right now I've got me some water boiling. Well, not boiling yet, but it will be soon. Right now what I need to do is skin out the head and get it ready. Now, I just got this out of the freezer last night, and I was going to mount this deer for a client, but once I thawed it out and I got out here this morning, I got to looking, and get rid of that. And I mean, this ear right here, I've never seen one so damaged. I don't know if you can see that, but I mean, it's just tore up. And then over here, I mean, just look at that. I mean, that's just a mess. So I talked with the guy that, you know, killed this deer, and we've decided to do a European mount on him. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to skin this deer head out, and then show you guys how to do that. And usually that's the tricky part. We'll skin the deer head out, and I'll show you the easy way to do it. And then we will boil the head, and I'll show you how to get the brain out and all the meat out, and how to do a professional European mount. So I'll get back with you in just a second. We'll start skinning this deer head out. Alright, so first thing you want to do, now see, this is still a little frozen right here, but as long as it's moving right here, I think we can go ahead and skin him out. I think we'll be alright. So what we do is we need to get a scalpel. Now this is not a requirement. You could use a very sharp knife to do this, very sharp knife, but if you're trying to do something professional, you want to use precision here. So anyway, what I like to do is make a Y incision is what we're going to do right here. Okay, we're going to come from here to there, here to there, and then we're going to go down the cape like this. Okay, so what I like to do is try to get the hair out of the way. Even though I'm just going to do a European mount on this, and this is, you know, is more you know, pretty much trash as far as the cape goes. I'm not going to keep it or do anything with it. So, but we're going to act like this is a professional job that I'm doing, and do it right and show you guys how this is done. So, I'm going to get my incision here. Like I said, I'm going to come down and make a Y. So I'm going to get over here, move some hair out of the way. And come from this antler down and try to join where the other incision is. I've been doing taxidermy for about 9 years now, so you know, I've got this down pat. It takes a little bit of practice to learn how to do this. I hope you can see what I've done here. You see how I've got that little triangle going on because I made that Y right there. When you're getting close to the actual base of the antler, which is called the rosette, you're going to be kind of trying to dig into where the antler is at the base to try to get the hair up close to that base there. So I don't know if you can see that or not, but I want to get really close to the base of that antler, the rosette. Okay, so again, I'm going to come back in here and try to get really close to the bone. And you don't want to mess this up, because any mess up that you make on a cape, you're just going to be sewing and fixing. So, you know, the less mistakes you make, the better off you'll be. I'm going to go ahead and try to cut down the back of the neck here. Try to do this with one incision here. Yeah, there'll be some hair that comes out with it, but you need to try to preserve the hairline as best as you can, because it'll look better once it's all sewn back at the end. So now we've got it to that point, and I'm going to try to separate some of this hide here from the back meat, or the back neck meat. I'm going to do the same on this side here. And at this point you want to try to leave as much meat on the head as possible, because you don't want all that meat on your hide. This is more you have to take off when you're using the fleshing machine or whatever you're using to skin out the hide. This makes it easier in the long run. So right now I'm about to run into the earbuds right here. Right here's the base of the ear. So what you do when you get to that point, we'll go to this one here. What you do is you just want to cut into that close to the skull here. Okay, and you want to be careful when you do this, because you don't want to make any mistakes and cut. Even though, you know, pretty much any mistake you make can be fixed. The biggest part about doing taxidermy is learning how to problem solve. You're going to run into issues with almost everything, every mount you do, and you need to figure out how are you going to fix that. every time I get a deer. So anyway, there's your earbud right there, completely taken off right from the skull there. Now I want to do that on this side here. Try to get to where you guys can see it. And just cut into it there. Wanting to stay pretty close to the skull. It's hard to do this and have you guys seeing it. I'll figure it out. Alright, I'm going to try to get some of this off there around that horn, kind of make it a little easier to pull back. Okay, now now just cut through the actual eardrum area, and you can see that where your ear tunnel, I guess, would go right into your eardrum. I'm not a biologist, so I don't know the technical terms, but we'll make do. I'll probably end up editing a lot of this out and speeding it up where you guys don't have to see all the painstaking process here, but get the general idea. Back in, try to get around the antler here. A lot of people at this point would probably take a screwdriver, flathead, and if you see, you know, there's not too much left of this, and they would come up behind here, do it without stabbing yourself, and just kind of pull away from it. Now, I've been doing it long enough that I can do it with the scalpel just as easy. So there you go. Now you've gotten all the hide away from the antlers. Okay, that's an important part there. Okay, I'm gonna do the same with this side over here. Trying to stay close to the bone in the antler. And I'm trying to do this. And sometimes it does make it easier using the flathead. Now I have stabbed myself doing this with the flathead before, and it's not fun. So you gotta be careful. I've stabbed myself with the scalpel a few times as well. It's just kind of part of it. I tell my wife that if I don't cut myself at least once, then I probably didn't do much that day. So it's kind of a joke, haha, right? Okay, we're getting close to this side here. Just keep on keeping on. Pretty soon I'll be away from these antlers. Alright, now we're away from the antlers on both sides. Alright, now I'm going to continue trying to get around this neck here, and eventually I'm going to be hanging it up for it to make it a little easier, and gravity will be helping us pull this hide down as we're cutting it, which helps out tremendously. Now, this wouldn't be taking so long if this thing wasn't still frozen around the neck here. Usually this, or if it was fresh. This has been in my freezer for quite some time. This was from last year's kill, so it's been in there for a good 7-8 months, if not better. But, I'm gonna get her done today. It's just unfortunate we're not gonna be able to mount him. Our way now. Never said I was a surgeon, just because I can use a surgical blade. I'm actually pretty much a klutz. So. All right, part of the esophagus there. You know what that is. See, I kind of use a pulling motion as I cut. When I do, it's frozen underneath his neck right here. When I do, it makes it kind of come down a little easier. If it wasn't frozen here. I need to hang it up now. Got a little hook here. You want to get behind here, and then I hang it from up here. Let's see. Let's see how that looks. Alright, that's good enough. Alright. So now I just use gravity to help me skin this deer out. Here in a second we're going to get to the eyeballs. You got to pay attention to that. You can mess up the eyelids real bad. You know when you get to the eyes, like right here, when I start moving down, you can start to see the eye socket right there. So what I want to do, once I start seeing that, I want to kind of get in there with the skin and break that eyelid. I still haven't done it just yet. There we go. Alright, I know that seems gross, but you got to stick your finger kind of in it, like that. Watch where you're cutting. You don't want to mess up the eyelid. Yeah, I need to take some off of this. Come on, there we go. There's the eyelid on this one. Okay, you can kind of see it, just pops right up. Okay. Alright, I busted that eyelid open, or eyeball, which is always pleasant. But anyway, it happens. Where's your... Alright. Hope you can see this, because this is fairly gross, but it's just part of it. Now there's a tear duct after you get past the eyeball. And I have, you know, cut through the tear duct many times. It's not the end of the world. Turn this around this way. It does suck because, like I said, anytime you make a hole or you do anything, you gotta fix it. So, I'll say the tear duct is probably one of the hardest parts, and that's what I'm into right here. And what I have to do is kind of ride up with it. And it comes out fairly easy if you know exactly where to cut. And see, this whole thing right here is the tear duct. Most of the time you end up cutting that right off right there, and then you gotta sew it up, and it's a pain in the butt. So, alright, now I'm gonna come over here and do it on this side. Okay. Hopefully that's not holding this up. Alright. And so coming up, you kinda gotta ride up a little high with it. There we go. There it is, right there, without cutting it. That's perfect. That's a shame I'm not going to be able to mount this because it actually skinned out pretty good. Okay, so now we're into the cheek. And right here, I'm inside the mouth of the deer. Okay, and you got to follow the jawbone and the nasal area here, the nose. Look at this side, and you can see, you know, the cheek muscle right here, and you just come through and open her up. And you stick your finger in it like that, and you want to, like I said, ride up the side of the jawbone and stuff. Be careful, you don't want to cut, you know, into the nose or anything like that. You really don't want to cut anything in the face. I mean, it helps out a lot if you don't cut into the face. Because that's what shows the most. You know, if you cut into the back or the hide or even the front, you know, a lot of times, you know, nobody notices that. You know, you can sew it up and nobody would even know. So, but with the face, you got to be pretty cautious. We're almost done here with the bottom part. Just follow that through. Do not get ahead of yourself right here. You don't want to cut that bottom lip neither. So just work your way. You're going to feel some teeth here. Okay, here we go. Right here, see there's the bottom teeth there. You're going to cut up close to that, so it still leaves plenty of that lip right there on there. And this, you can start cutting like that, working your face down here. Almost to the cartilage. We are to the cartilage of the nose. When you get to that point, you cut through the cartilage there. Okay, all the way until you hit the bone again. And you're going to work your way through here like this. And voila. Okay. So now you have got the deer head completely skinned out. Like I said, it's unfortunate I'm not going to be able to use it because of this ear. I mean, that's just, what a waste. I hate that. But anyway, so now we've got the head skinned out. Now I need to take this neck muscle out, which is frozen. I might just put it in the hot water for a while and let it cook until it's thawed out and ready to go. Another thing you want to do before you stick this in the water, seems gross, but believe me, you're going to want to do it. You're going to puncture a hole. This one already has it. In the eyeball, because once you stick that in the water, those things will will shrink, and they're full of juice and liquid. It's really gross, and they pop, and they can do it right in your face if you're not careful. So anyway, I'm gonna stop the video. I'm gonna clean up a little bit, and then we'll get to the next phase, and I'll pick you guys back up there.